Hey everybody, it's Tuesday. It's the Betting Edge with the Prez. I'm Lawrence Presman. Excited to have this show be my last show for 2 weeks, and a huge thank you to Rob Vino, who's stepping in to host from now until the 25th of December. And he's on today. I got Rob Vino and Drew Martin, both from Sports Memo. We're talking one college basketball, one NBA, and one NFL game. We've got some promos for you. And also, I want to talk to you guys about some in-game betting. Let's bring the guests in. Robert Vino, your head's cut off, but I'll adjust that. How are you, my friend?
I am good today, Prez. How about yourself?
You know, dude, I got a lot of packing to do. I'm super excited. I'm a big-time skier. I've skied all over the world, and I've never skied in Zermatt. Zermatt's one of the most famous ski resorts on the planet. It's literally where the Matterhorn is. So I'm going down. I leave tomorrow. I'm doing 4 days of skiing. And then when I get back, I'm here for 1 day. I'll literally tape the college football bowl games and the NFL show, and then off to Jamaica with my children, my girlfriend and her children. So I'm feeling good, man. I think it's going to be a fun Christmas, dude. I can't thank you enough for stepping in and hosting the shows while I'm away. It's, you know, it's really important, bro, and I really appreciate it.
Not a problem. We will handle that. We're good from 12 to 20, 13-day span there. No Saturday, Sunday, but we'll look forward to it, Prez. Hopefully, I do not mess things up on you with that show.
Are you kidding, dude? You're going to be perfect. I know that for sure. Just to let everybody know, today's been a bit of a rough day internet-wise. Puck Time had some major sound issues. I actually had to dump Carmine, so it's just myself and Alex. And today as well on the Edge already, you know, we saw Rob Vino freeze during that time period. There's very little I can do about it, man. Like, I don't have control of the internet or the service providers that funnel the connectivity into any of our homes. So please bear with us. Drew Martin, baby, $2 Tuesdays over at Sports Memo. Tell us about that. Then we'll give out a promotion, and off to the races we go.
Yeah, Prez, it is $2 Tuesday at sportsmemo.com, and Alex B. Smith, our hottest handicapper, great NHL handicapper, like you were touching on with the Puck Time show. His top play, a 5%er, his top-rated play in NHL, going tonight for just $2, normally $40, so check it out, sportsmemo.com. Also, Prez, I didn't know you were a skier, man. That is good to hear. You need to come out here. I've heard there's some good ski places around the Vegas area, maybe in Utah. Maybe this year we can hit it up.
Well, dude, I actually skied Utah last year. I ski Utah at least 3 out of 4 years. This year it looks like I'm heading down to Mammoth, maybe in beginning of April, but I'll give you a heads up, and if you want to meet, absolutely. Are you a boarder or a skier?
Snowboarder, yeah.
That's okay. It's okay.
Okay.
We should go to Ulta then. One of the only 4 hills that doesn't allow snowboarders. I can just wave at you.
Yeah, I'm down to go, man.
Yeah, sound issues there, guys. Sorry about that. Please don't make comments about it. It annoys the shit out of me. There's nothing I can do about it at all. I'm going to give out a promo for you, Drew, and then I want to talk about some in-game betting really quick, because it's really the new thing, and a lot of people are struggling with it. They want to know about how to attack it, and, well, I kill in in-game betting, so I'm going to tell you guys my strategy. Drew has made big profits in college basketball 3 years running. I mean, Drew, this is probably your best sport, give or take.
Yeah, absolutely. The last 3 years have been really good in college basketball.
Yeah, so guys, Drew's he waits for a few weeks into the college basketball season. He started the year 2-2, but the plays are coming, and they're coming now. Drew, the rest of your college basketball season, I lowered it down to $399. The promo code is CBB399. That's CBB399. And please feel free to tweet that out. Robbie, do you do any in-game betting?
Yeah, I do, as a matter of fact, Prez, and I have I really enjoy the Saturday 12 to 2 slot that I'm in on Sports Grid's in-game show. So we do a lot of it there for 2 hours with the listening audience. And, I think it's a great way, if you don't have an opinion for the full game or first half, to get a gist of what's going on and then, adjust your mentality toward that game and make a play. It seems to be, at least for me, been a way to look for abnormalities inside a contest and then bet for things to return to the mean and make some cash that way.
Yeah, Drew, you host an in-game betting show as well, so you're familiar with it. Are you making bets?
Yeah, sure. So sometimes I do. I think it's some days I feel like in-game live betting is awesome, and then when it's not going your way, it's like, man, I'm wasting my time here. It's kind of, any sports bettor I think can resonate with that. But overall, it's a cool new way to get down on games. So yeah, I get it. Like when one profile I like is like when a favorite gets out to a bad start, maybe catch the favorite at a pick'em or a plus price to come back in the game. That's one kind of profile that I've had a little success with out the gate.
And that's where I want to talk. That's where I want to start, because guys, this is how I attack in-game betting, and really it's in keeping with exactly what Drew has said. We saw Ohio State on Saturday go down 14-0. The in-game line went to -3.5 for Ohio State. Then we saw Houston go down a whole shit ton to Denver, and the in-game bet at its highest was at +20.5 for Houston. Last night we saw the New York Giants go up 17-3. The in-game bet at its highest was Philadelphia at +5.5. Now, guys, this is what I want to talk about. When looking at making an in-game bet, there's two core principles that I follow. The first principle is look for a substantially better line than the line makers gave you at the beginning of the game. And that is really simple. The bottom line is most line makers are, let's put it this way, how many times are you watching an NFL football game and you turn to your wife, you turn to your friend, you turn to your betting partner and you say, this is going to come down to the last play? The point is, these line makers are not off by 7 to 20 points on a regular basis. They are always within, 80% of the time they are within a field goal of the points that they gave you, which is why you say this game is going to come down to the final play. The second thing you need to take into account is you need to understand the relation between the line and the total. So to give you an example, last night the New York Giants went up 7-0. Then they went up 14. They went up 7-0. I've gone blank. But whatever the bottom line is, I turned to my girlfriend and I said, now we bet Philadelphia. And she said, but why would you bet Philadelphia? At the time, I think it was Philadelphia -3.5 when the Giants were up. The Giants were up 7-3 and Philly was -3.5. I turned to my girlfriend and said, we need to bet Philly now. She said, well, why would you bet Philly now? Because the New York Giants have already scored and they're clearly playing better, etc., etc. The bottom line, guys, is the Philadelphia was -9.5, and the over and under was 45. That means that the suggested score would be 28-17 Philadelphia. 28-17, right around the line, right on the total. That's where the bookmakers felt this game was going to go at the beginning. 28-17 Philly. So that means that they already have taken into account the New York Giants putting up that 7 points. They didn't know the New York Giants would put it up at the beginning of the game, but they already understood that the New York Giants would score 17 points. So we got lucky with the New York Giants scoring 7 of those 17 points first. Lo and behold, the bookmakers got it accurate. The New York Giants scored 17 points. So if you, as what Drew was saying, if you can get the dog to score first, you come back on the favorite. That's what I'm looking for in game wise. And Drew, I'm doing it throughout. So I took Philadelphia at -3.5 when they were down 7-3. I took Philadelphia at to win. They were down 17-3. I took them to win the game at 3-1 odds. And I also took them at +5.5 when they were down 17-3 as well. So guys, to summarize, what you're looking for is you're looking for a better line. If the line makers put it out at -9.5 and you can get -3.5 halfway through the first quarter, jump on it 100 out of 100 times. Rob, Vino, Drew, Drew, we'll go to you first. What do you want to add to that? Yes, this is the in-game betting show.
Yeah, that profile, I do like the underdog, or excuse me, the favorite when they get down. I like what you had to say in terms of, you know, even being open to both sides. You know, you can catch yourself a middle where you throughout the game, team A at a plus price, and then later on in the game you get team B at a plus price, and then you're going to cash your ticket. So it's you can get yourself in a good situation there at the end game. You time it right. Sometimes it can be difficult though.
Yeah, so I'm glad you mentioned that, and then Rob, I'll go to you. Houston, I got Houston was down a shit ton to Denver. I got them at +20.5. They then proceeded to score a touchdown, and Denver was -13.5. That gave me a 7-point middle, and I took it and I cashed both sides of those tickets. Rob, that is especially interesting in the NBA. Because in the NBA, we see teams go on massive runs. So you can really jump back and forth pretty much all game long in the NBA. Do you want to add anything in regards to the NBA, and also any thoughts in regards to really my concept, and that is just find a better line than was originally given out. And the better. In other words, you know, if the line is -3 and you can get it at +3, +10 is better, +20 is better. The better you can get away from that original line, the better value. It will correct itself later in the game because the bookmakers are rarely off by more than 3 or 4 points.
Yeah, I totally agree with that, Prez. I come at it more from a total standpoint because I play a lot more totals than I do sides. But when I mentioned abnormalities earlier, with totals, it's the same thing as you're talking about with sides. I'll give you a couple of quick examples. The very first Ohio State-Wisconsin game that was played in the rain, that game was about 7-0 with, 4 minutes left in the first half. And the in-game total, the full game total was 47.5. The in-game total came all the way down to 25.5. At which point I played over the total, figuring Ohio State, second half, they're going to make some adjustments. The game went well over the in-game line. I think it ended 38-7. Didn't exceed full game, but you cash in because you get a total that's 22 points lower. It happened again on Saturday. Oklahoma-Baylor, a very low-scoring first half, in-game total. This is a game that was steamed all the way from 61 to 66, I think, for full game total. And the in-game in the second quarter came all the way down to 48.5. So now you're 17.5 points lower than the expectation. Went ahead and played Oklahoma-Baylor over that 48.5 in-game, not knowing I was going to get a third-string quarterback in the end for Baylor. But still, the game goes overtime. The game goes over that 48.5, doesn't exceed full game. So again, there's advantages to be had both ways, side and total. And you like to capitalize on games that start off not according to what the line maker had projected for full game. If you can get a substantial difference between their expectation and what's actually going on, that in-game line becomes a little distorted, and you got to take advantage of those.
Yeah, but you do have to be more careful with totals, Rob. And I'll give you an example of last night. The total was 45. I watched the first quarter of the game. It ended 73. It ended 7-3 in the first quarter, and I actually bet the in-game under 41. The weather was atrocious. You really can feel like the game was getting bogged down and the field was getting messier. So I actually went against my strategy of looking for a better line and actually took a worse line. And then I waited, and the line dropped down to 37, and I'm like, okay, this is 8 points off of the original line, and I'm already on an under 41. I'm going to bet over the total, and I ended up again winning both bets. I'm really, really fascinated with this in-game betting, guys. I think there's a shit ton of money to be made. Boys, remember, Drew's got a promo up, CBB 399, get his entire college basketball season for only $399. Use the promo code CBB 399, and I am making a scroll change, so check that out, and we'll talk about it shortly. Boys, let's get into it. Three games today. College basketball. Boston College versus Albany. I'm not even going to set this game up. Boston College, a minus 6.5, 7, a total of 134. Drew, I'll go to you first.
Yeah, Boston College, the ACC team here. Prez, we got Nick Popovich, their center. He got some looks in the NBA, put in his name to the NBA draft last year to give you an idea of like what kind of player he has the ability to be. He's out now, back injury, did not play their last game against Notre Dame. So we change, in my opinion, the best way to get an advantage over the odds makers. We got that with Boston College. And sure enough, last game against Notre Dame, it was their best game. Derek Thornton, Jay Heath, and Jared Hamilton all scored 13 more points for them. They ended up winning a close game against Notre Dame, doing very well offensively. Now they're going up against Albany, the Great Danes from the America East Conference. This is a team 75% line, Prez. They've averaged 70-plus possessions. They've hit upwards of 80 possessions a game. So this is a team that will go up and down the court. I just think that this total is a little bit too low here with the increased kind of offensive tempo that we saw from Boston College, and we're seeing it just 134 here, mid to low 130s. I think that that's hanging a little too low here. So I like this Boston College over the 134 number.
Ralph, what do you think about this game?
Or
yeah,
Ralph,
I just
Ralph
changed the promo to Ralph. We'll talk about him in a sec. But yeah, Rob, Ralph. Now I can already see the comments. Prez, you're so rude. You don't even know your guest's name. You're an asshole, Prez. Yesterday I was called an asshole. Go on.
Yeah, I'm going to pile on to what Drew said about playing the over, and I'll focus on the Albany side, which has been a team that's been really depth shy for a while now, missing a lot of pieces, but slowly but surely those pieces are coming back, including Adam Lilka, who was their second leading rebounder last year, 6'8" kid, their number one scorer. So you can kind of infuse a few more points into Albany's point production so far this season, which hasn't been great to date. I think also real quick here for BC, you're playing a team that has the 312th ranked schedule strength, according to Ken Palm this season. So Boston College points could come a little bit easier than against some of the opponents they've played so far this year, including Notre Dame, where they got 73. I kind of like Drew's side here, or total here, with the over, mainly because Albany has their pieces coming back. I think they're only missing like one guy now that makes any real significant difference. So they should be able to put a little more offense together here. 134 looks a little bit low, and it looks like it's based on, obviously, what's happened so far this season, the previous results. Albany's results are about to change here a little bit with the health of their team getting better.
Guys, NBA tonight, Atlanta playing Miami. We're going to talk about that game, but first I want to give out another promo code. Ralph Michaels has a 5% NFL play on Sunday. It's a very rare play, probably has 4 of these a year. You guys can get it for half price. Use the promo code Ralph20. Also, make sure to check out the NFL presidential address. It will be up tonight. Atlanta plus 8.5 on the road playing Miami. 217.5 is the total. Drew, regale us with your thoughts.
Well, the Heat here, the team at home, -9. I just think it's a little bit too steep here. Miami's lost their last 3 against the spread, and the last 2 of those were at home. They're at home tonight. And the Hawks, they've won 4 of their last 6 against the numbers. So a team that's gotten off to a bad start to the season of late is at least playing a little bit better than what the odds makers came into the season thinking. So 218 being the total. And the Heat, I think it's a little bit too steep of a number. Don't like this one nearly as much as the college basketball play, and I'm not as good in the NBA as in college basketball with the underdog.
Mr. Steve Johnson.
It's like that first Eddie and the Cruisers movie.
That was one of my favorite movies of all time, period, end of story. I used to call myself an Ed head.
and I forget the way he introduced the drummer, Toby somebody.
Yeah, you're right. I remember that. But come on, man, that scene on the balcony when they wrote "On the Dark Side," on the dark side. Oh yeah. Oh my God.
For those who haven't seen it, it's a tremendous.
Oh my God! Like it is legitimate. Okay, the second one was a disaster, but Eddie and the Cruisers one is a top 50 movie of all time. It is unbelievable. Michael Paré or whatever plays Eddie. Unbelievable. Tom Berenger in it. Rene Russo, I think, was even in it. Oh my God. Oh my God. I can't even believe you mentioned that movie. It is like a 10 out of 10.
And for those looking for the musicians behind that, I think it was John
and
Cassidy
the Beaver Brown Band. Oh yeah, baby.
Yeah. So.
Oh yeah, Tender Yours, unbelievable song. Like some of the music in that movie is second to none, dude.
Very, very good. I'm with you there, Prez. And on this game, Atlanta and Miami, while Drew took the forefront on the college forefront here on this game over. I really like this game up and over the 217.5. I think it's pushed to 218.5 now. But the reason, and Drew mentioned the 0-3 ATS skid that the Miami Heat are on, I attribute that directly to the absence of backup point guard Goran Dragic and starting shooting guard Justice Winslow. Those 2 guys increase the depth of this team. And right now, Miami's running about 7 players out there. They're a little less able to play the defense that they want to play. And a couple of these losses, guys, the 2 that were at home are to Chicago and Washington, which are teams that really sit in that same little square as the Atlanta Hawks do. Now, Atlanta, we know, total offense, not a lot of defense here. As hard as head coach Lloyd Pierce says, it just doesn't happen. It may happen when John Collins returns. I think he's got 7 games left on his suspension. But for the time being, the Hawks brought back DeAndre Hunter, came on, Crabbe returned. Their lineup is just full of scorers here. They've played twice already this season. Both games hit 215. I think in this situation with Miami, a semi-defensive oriented team, depth shy, I think Atlanta can score a little more this time around. Atlanta obviously doesn't stop anybody. To me, the increase up to 217.5 for an opener just wasn't enough here. I think this game gets into the 220s. I like it over, guys. I think it's going to be that way from start to finish. So I'm going to play this one up and over the current 218.5.
He's Rob Vino, plus Drew Martin, both at sportsmemo.com. I'm the Prez. Reminder, this is my last show. No. I'm doing tomorrow, right, Rob?
You are.
Yeah, so Rob will be hosting on Thursday till December 25th. Guys, real sexy NFL game we're going to talk about. The LA Rams going into Dallas. Really, both teams just need to win, man. Dallas at least can see they can see a way to the playoffs. They just need to beat Philadelphia and win out. They're in. The Rams, man, they got it tough. This team not only needs to win, they can literally win out at 11-5 and not make the playoffs if Minnesota and Seattle continue to win. And that's not unrealistic right now. I mean, Minnesota's going to have a tough one against Green Bay, but you know, I mean, the Rams are not in control of their own destiny, but they are in control of their destiny in this one particular game. Here's my bottom line take. I think Dallas is an awful football team on every side of the ball, especially on offense. Dak Prescott is mediocre at best. Zeke has not had a great year. And they really have no world-class wide receivers and a tight end who, albeit might be a top 3 in history, is ancient and not lighting it up. The Rams for me. This Rams defense is for real. We saw what they did against Russell Wilson. I don't see Dallas scoring much. Rob, I'll go to you first. I like the under a lot, and I like the Rams a lot.
And it's a line move, Prez, a severe line move that we just don't normally see in this situation. A team off of Monday night, short work week with travel, and yet everybody's pounding LA Rams. And I think it kind of fits the narrative off of last night where these desperate teams, just because they're desperate doesn't mean they're going to win and cover point spreads. Philadelphia's shown you that twice in a row. The Dallas Cowboys continue to show that week in and week out. And the other adage, you are what your record says you are, seems to apply to both of these squads. So I can see the rush to LA despite the situation here that normally wouldn't attract this type of money. It's funny how quickly the NFL changes. 2 weeks ago, we're on this show, or maybe it was you, I, and Joe Ranieri, Prez. But at that point in time, the assumption was, boy, the LA Rams offensive line sucks. They can't block anybody. Jared Goff stinks. And 2 weeks later, after 2 wins, people can't unload their pockets fast enough on the LA Rams. So things do change. The Rams seem to be getting a little bit of a hold on their offensive side of the football. It's looked better the last 2 weeks. I mean, the Cardinals aren't a great gauge of that. Yeah. They've trashed them 34-7, but the game against Seattle was, you know, a good showing for the offense. Todd Gurley's getting back into it. So I have a hard time making a case for Dallas. I was going to make a little bit of a case. I would have made a little bit of a case for the over when it opened at 47, but now up to 49. I'm with you on the point that you made that the Rams defense at this point in time, especially since Jalen Ramsey's gotten comfortable there as a lockdown corner. Dallas has a lot of injuries. Let's not forget Leighton Vander Esch is out of this game. A lot of action when you play the LA Rams takes place either sideways, horizontally, or in the center of the field short. It can be troublesome for Dallas. You know, you have to like LA here. Just a matter of whether or not you want to get in at this
Drew
price.
Martin, anything to add?
Well, sidewise, you know, the Rams, they've won their last 2 straight up and ATS, like Vino was saying. Plus, last game versus Seattle, their defense lights out, winning that game 28-12. Their defense is just playing really well, like with Jalen Ramsey, like Vino was saying. 7 of their last 8 under the total. I mean, their offense, decent, but it's nothing like last year, at least what I've been seeing. And the Cowboys on their end, they won 3 of their last 10 games. Like you were saying, Prez, kind of a dumpster fire all over. It starts with the owner, Jerry Jones, always calling out his coach. I mean, that's got to get old sometime. And just all kinds of problems. Kind of a one-way team for me. Not lead him, but just with this line move, wonder if I'm a little bit too late. Don't like to jump on bad numbers. So I think I'm looking towards this total here, Prez, and likely be on the under of 49 in the Rams versus the Cowboys.
Well, boys, we're all on the same page. Outstanding stuff. Guys, I can't thank you enough. CBB 399, Drew Martin's entire college basketball season Ralph 20, half price off of Ralph's 5% play. And NHL half price off of every single NHL expert